Do you know what a boomerang is? It's a piece of curved wood. When thrown, it returns to the thrower. Think of it like Beijing and the Wuhan virus, a classic case of boomerang. China exported the virus and now it has come back to consume China. At a time when the world is moving beyond the pandemic or learning to live with it at the very least, reopening travel, China is obsessed with zero COVID and it is pushing it deep into history. Tonight, we bring you two stories from two Chinese megacities. The first one is Hong Kong. It is battling a severe shortage of beds and isolation facilities. There is also want of empathy. Authorities in Hong Kong have separated at least 2,000 children from their parents. They tested positive for the Wuhan virus and they were taken away from their parents and isolated in hospitals. All of these children are below 10 years of age. Their parents are not being allowed to meet them or take care of them or stay with them in a quarantine facility. We're talking about children below 10 years of age. In some cases, as young as 11 months old. In February, Hong Kong authorities separated an 11-month-old baby from her mother. This baby had tested positive for the Wuhan virus. The 32-year-old British woman went crying and begging to the hospital. She asked for a test, hoping to test positive herself so that she could stay with her daughter. But the hospital turned her away. The mother was told to go and get tested at a government facility. The hospital told her that the baby will not be discharged until she tests negative, and the parents will not be able to see her till then, 11 months old. And stories like these are unheard of. But coming from China, a country that has sworn to a zero COVID policy, it doesn't surprise you. Its obsession with zero COVID is now taking a toll on the people of China. Hospitals in Hong Kong claim to be putting, quote-unquote, public health over children's interests. Experts say this is child abuse. Lawyers say they're receiving calls from distressed parents wondering how to navigate these draconian policies. Many expats have left the city. They fear meeting separation from their children. They're reconsidering going back to Hong Kong. Locals too are afraid to report their children's infections. China's zero COVID policy has clearly failed to contain the Wuhan virus, but the country is still bent on beating its people with an iron rod, hoping to get COVID out of their system. Again, we come back to Hong Kong. The city's borders have been shut since 2020. It's been 2 years. 2 years. Just a handful of flights have been allowed to fly in and out of Hong Kong. Not too long ago, the city's residents were forced to give up their hamsters. Thousands of these creatures were culled. Hong Kongers, in fact, have been living under one of the world's harshest lockdowns. What for? What is it, the fifth wave in Hong Kong? Clearly, the obsession with the zero COVID policy is not working. China's draconian policies are not working. All those sudden lockdowns. Residents are being forced to leave pets behind. Women being stuck with blind dates for days. They did not work. The Wuhan virus has refused to leave its home. And at a time when the world is moving past COVID, China's only policy seems to be moving backwards in history. This is how China's financial capital looks right now. This is Shanghai. Reports say there are at least 4,500 fresh cases in this mega city. There is no way to verify these numbers. China's numbers have been all over the place. These are absurd categorizations. Asymptomatic carriers, local transmissions, perhaps designs to mask the real picture. We don't know. Reports say in Shanghai alone there are 4-digit new infections. For the 6th straight day, the city is in the middle of a 2-phase lockdown. 25 million people have been affected. Either they have to stay indoors from the 28th of March to the 1st of April, or from the 1st to the 5th of April. Authorities plan to test everyone in the city, and anyone who tests positive will be sent to hospital. Isolating at home is not an option in Shanghai, but hospitals are strained. How many people can they take? The situation in Shanghai is so desperate that in many cases employees are sleeping over at offices so that their businesses can navigate this lockdown and continue business as usual. China's zero-COVID policy and blanket lockdowns have already disrupted production and supply chains. As we speak, production of Tesla in Shanghai has hit pause. Other companies have been affected too. A few days ago, Chinese President Xi Jinping pledged to achieve what he called maximum prevention and control. In other words, he did not quite instill the confidence the people and businesses were looking for. And the end result is this: China continues to be isolated from the world, courtesy its homemade virus. And its continued obsession with zero COVID has triggered an exodus of expats and businesses. Several companies have exited Hong Kong and Shanghai. Many others have joined the queue. Reports say Hong Kong is offering tax relief to companies now, trying to tempt them into staying back. But is any of this working? We'll be tracking this for you. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.